Wellers. Now we're going to talk in a little bit more detail about choosing lean proteins. Okay, so what we're trying to accomplish when we eat anything is to really maximize the function of that food. So when we eat proteins, we want to be able to consume the foods that have the healthiest components in them. Something like wild salmon or wild sardines would have some omega-3 fatty acids. That would be the functional part of that protein. Other foods or other proteins might have an enormous amount of fat related to the protein. For example, take a big steak. You're going to have a lot of flavor because of the fat, but at the same time, it's not the same omega-3 fats. Okay, so that's a saturated fat versus a polyunsaturated fat. That video will come later. But if you're talking about eating a protein that's also a source of high saturated fats, you're going to want to instead opt for more proteins that have our omega-3 fats. All right, so that's one option when you're talking about animal sources. Also consider chicken, poultry, fowl. The meat itself is actually incredibly lean. Even our darker meats are leaner than many of our steak cuts. But the skin itself is what we want to maybe avoid eating. That's where the majority of your saturated fat is contained. If you peel the skin off, then you're going to be eating a much leaner source of protein. So that's wise. Protein is those animal proteins are a great source of other minerals, particularly iron, the darker meats being a better source than the lighter meats, but also a variety of amino acids, essentially amino acids. They are complete proteins. Beyond fish, poultry, or steak cuts, some very lean items are something like the egg. Okay, so the egg, the white part of the egg is where the protein is, and that is the most lean source of pure protein. You're talking about getting 6 grams of protein for maybe only 17 calories. This is because all of the calories in that egg white are just dedicated to protein. This is unlike the other examples, the fish, the steak, the poultry, because those are combination foods of fats and proteins. The egg white is a bit more pure as far as its protein value. That makes it really handy. This one, for example, is a hard-boiled egg, and it's very portable. If you are just consuming the egg white, it's only going to give you 17 calories, though. Adding the egg yolk is where the fats are located. That's going to bump the calorie range up to about 90, depending on the size of the egg. Other sources of lean proteins, we start going into plant bases, okay? So I've got some beans here. Rather than looking at beans as a source of protein and fats, we're looking at beans as a source of protein and fiber. That's the functional part of that combination protein carb food like this. So the extra fiber that you'll consume here is going to give a lot of happy function to your body, okay? So that makes it really, really helpful and much leaner than the fat protein options like fish, poultry, and steak, okay? So those are some easy ways to determine how to choose your proteins. Most of us are looking at lower calorie diets, so we're trying to optimize our intake of lean proteins. That's lower calorie, lower fat proteins. Another way to do that on the go is to use dairy products. Dairy products do offer a source of lean protein for those of you who are appropriate to consume dairy. The cheese stick, I always joke, is the hospital dietitian's go-to source for lean protein on the go. It slips inside the purse, you can keep it in the car on a cold day, those types of things. It's low cal and it is a high protein level. Other cheeses are going to have a lot more fat in relation to the protein and are not wise choices for reducing inflammation and for reducing weight. An easy source, of course, is a protein powder. It's a little bit more complex, so I'm going to get to that into the next video. But happy protein, happy proteining. All right, thanks, LOLers. I'll see you on the next video.